Angelina Jolie and Cynthia Erivo bond over singing live on set, and why Jolie's daughter needed Defying Gravity. We want art to have influence. At the Tony Awards in June, the past and future of Wicked were in the spotlight, with Idina Menzel and Cynthia Erivo, the Elphabas of stage and screen, respectively, presenting the night's Best New Musical Award to The Outsiders. One of those statuettes went to Angelina Jolie, who, with her daughter Vivienne, was among the producers of the Broadway adaptation of S.E. Hinton's classic 1967 novel. "I know how excited everybody was that you presented the Tony," Jolie says to Erivo during their Actors on Actors conversation, calling Erivo's part in the ceremony the cherry on top. "That it would be from you?" Excitement from Team Outsiders certainly makes sense. For playing Celie in the 2015 Broadway revival of the musical The Color Purple, Erivo won a Tony, a Grammy and an Emmy, putting her, in one swoop, just an Oscar short of vaunted EGOT status today, though. Jolie and Erivo have gathered not to discuss Broadway, but to delve into their recent film roles. Jolie's Maria begins on the day of opera diva Maria Callas' death, then rewinds to her final days, with flashbacks to her career triumphs, heartbreaks, and childhood of trauma. Jolie could relate to Maria. "Having lost my voice," she says, speaking metaphorically and then adding, "maybe when I lost my mother, maybe when someone hurt me." To master the role in the Pablo Larraín film, therefore, Jolie trained for 7 months, and it was like a therapy, to get inside Elphaba's skin for Wicked. Each day Erivo had to undergo a green transformation that would take, she says, up to 4 hours, which was on top of taking care of her vocal cords afterward. "It doesn't matter how accomplished a singer you are. You have to find the time to repair," Erivo says. At the end of their talk, the two performers set their eyes toward the future. "I hope we get to work together," Jolie says. "Let's find something." Cynthia Erivo: "When I watched Maria, I wanted to find out what brought you to the project." Angelina Jolie: "Well, I had wanted to work with Pablo Larraín for a long time. I think he's a wonderful director that is very thoughtful about his subject and his work. And he's very sensitive to behavior in actors, but also able to shoot a film, and you sometimes sacrifice one for the other. He called me about Maria, and I said, 'You have to give me a few days.' I knew of her a little bit, but I watched a lot of her work. Then I also watched a lot of her interviews. What got me the most was, towards the end of her life, there was a lot of cruelty, and she was very unsupported. I knew that the whole team wanted to approach it with love and respect for her, so I thought we'd try." Erivo: "I didn't realize that there was that much cruelty. There's a particular scene where she comes out of the opera house after singing, and an aggressive photographer's there. I felt so heartbroken for her, as someone who's just trying to find her feet again." Jolie: "I'm sure you understand her even in ways I don't, as singing has been a part of your life since you were little. And you're so unbelievably talented. It's a lifetime commitment. It's all the work that's not seen and not understood. And in many ways you were born very talented. But really for me to now understand what it takes. I have so much respect for you and your work." Erivo: "Thank you, Jolie. In moments like that with Maria, she gave so much of her life, and then when she wasn't able to perform at that level, there wasn't a sympathy or a support for what she was as an older woman. There was only as if she just disappointed people for not being able to deliver. And cruelty. I have so many thoughts and questions for you. For someone to be such an accomplished Broadway performer, to then have the camera this close, how is that adjustment to sing that way?" Erivo: "With Broadway you have to perform to the back of the house. You want them to see everything, you want them to be able to read the emotions, so you have to send it out. When on camera, John Chu, our director, took us off track. There were no tracks. We just agreed to sing live on set." Jolie: "That's extraordinary," did Erivo. "When we were doing a song like For Good, for Wicked, Part 2, there'd be silence in my ears and he'd say, 'You start,' and the pianist will come in. We could even include all the breaks in the voice. If it turns into a whisper, then it turns into a whisper, and then you can build from there. That was really the joy of being able to do all of that on set, because you could really connect in the moment, change your mind in the moment." Will you talk about all of the work that you had done to sing? Because yes, I've been doing it my whole life, so for me it's like skin, second nature. But to have to learn a new form of singing, because opera is its own form. One, how brave.